This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball, and this is Memorial Day 2018. This afternoon, it's day baseball, a showdown inside the NL Central Division. The St. Louis Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers. Welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Dan McLaughlin. We'll hear from Al Raboski in just a moment. Scott Warman is here as well. Brent Suter, a lefty, will go this afternoon for the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers playing very good baseball. They are 14 games above 500, 4 games in front of St. Louis in the Central Division. Meanwhile, Luke Weaver gets the call for the St. Louis Cardinals. And with more on that, let's send it to my partner, Al Raboski.
Well, Luke Weaver in his last 3 starts has pitched very, very well. Great ERA. You can see the opponents aren't getting much hits, but the odd thing is he's lost his last 2 games, going 7 innings in both those starts. Today, he'll need to go deep into this game with the bullpen a little thin.
So let's compare the Cardinals and the Brewers. The Cardinals taking 3 of 4 over the weekend in Pittsburgh, now 28-22. Milwaukee 34-20. Yelich has been good. Kane has been good. Thames not in the lineup, out with a thumb issue. So it's the Cardinals, it's the Brewers, it's Memorial Day. Celebrate with us right here on Fox Sports Midwest. 2018. This afternoon, we're at Miller Park in Milwaukee. It's day baseball. The roof is open. A beautiful day as the Cardinals take on the Brewers. The Kubota Power Stats. Tommy Pham, who'll bat third in this lineup. And Pham is hitting .286 overall, but here at Miller Park, 15 games, nearly an average of 406 home runs, and he's driven in 14. Tommy with a home run over the weekend. We'll see if it carries over to today. Day baseball, brats on the grill, tailgating. What else? That's what you get when you come to Milwaukee. The Brewers and Cardinals NL Central Showdown. It's coming up. For legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. Memorial Day, we honor and remember the brave men and women made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country. A look at the Cardinals lineup with Matt Carpenter, Jose Martinez, and Tommy Pham here in the first, followed by Jed Jerko, Marcelo Ozuna, Harrison Bader, Jairo Munoz, Francisco Pena, and Luke Weaver, the pitcher, is batting ninth. He's one of the fastest workers in all of baseball. The young lefty, Brent Suter, he can be very tough.
Dan, he's a fast worker, but with slow stuff. He's actually his fastball about, it's way below the comfort zone to major leaguers. You can see he throws the fastball 66% of the time. So he's really trying to go out there and be efficient, and don't look for him to go much more than 5+ innings. He does not have a quality start all season long.
It's the second time the Cardinals have been here in Milwaukee. They won 2 of 3. The season series tied 3-3. Last year, the first time since 2010 that Milwaukee had won the season series. And there's a look at Mike Matheny, no stranger to the Brewers, his first 5 years as a player wearing a Brewers uniform. The defense for Craig Counsell, Ryan Braun, Lorenzo Cain, and Christian Yelich, that trio in the outfield. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs. Shaw, Salandino, Villar, and Aguilar on the infield. Manny Pena is behind the plate. Orlando Arcia, by the way, was sent down to the minor leagues, and it wasn't because of his defense. They're trying to get him right hitting. And the first pitch is strike, and we're underway.
See if Carpenter can't do what he did in the Pittsburgh series and jumpstart the offense either with a home run or at least an extra base hit here in the first inning.
On the year, batting .214. And quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. One of the differences right now with the Milwaukee Brewers has been their defense. They're 6-1 on their current homestand and no errors. And Carpenter hits it down the left field line and out of play. Compare that to how they started the season. The first 19 games, they had 21 errors, most in baseball.
Yeah, I saw that and settled down here for Craig Console, and that makes a difference with the pitching staff. Interesting that both pitching staffs have identical ERAs right now.
And a breaking pitch in the dirt. 1-2.
Of course, the Cardinals do it with their starting pitching, and the Brewers do it with their relief corps.
And Carpenter hits it into the shift. Sharply to VR for the first out. I don't know about you. I thought yesterday might have been the best win of the year for the Cardinals.
Actually, I think the last 2 wins were very good, complete games. You know, no errors. You saw timely hitting. You got good starting pitching. Good bullpen was exceptional, and it was really nice to see the guys come from behind, and particularly the walks. You know, that's something. You know, we don't get a lot of hits, and we get a lot of singles. And you know, you need to manufacture some of those walks, and they count too.
And the Cardinals did it against a bullpen that had not given up a lead in the 6th inning or later yesterday. And that changed in Game 3 as they took 2 of 3 against the Pirates. And here's Jose Martinez.
I don't know if you noticed it, Dan, but after Vasquez and he struggled throwing strikes, when he got to the bench, he was grabbing his forearm and seemed to be in quite a bit of pain. And then they were talking about they were having that looked at. That could be a big problem for them.
Saw Martinez call time before that pitch. I would assume that many Cardinals may try to do that to disrupt the rhythm of Brent Suter. Works very, very quickly.
And you can see how many hitters will stand in that box and try to call time and want to take all the time in the world.
The strikeout, the first of the afternoon for Suter. Turn to Al Roboski's Toyota keys to the game.
Well, we saw what those walks did yesterday, so work the count. You know, you got a pitcher out here that really goes only 5 innings plus. He hasn't been in that 6th inning all season. And then we got a thin bullpen. Now, I did talk to Bud Norris. He said he is okay, but I can't conceive of any way that Jordan Hicks would be pitching today.
The strike to Tommy Pham right before that first pitch. He called time. Was Suter in his windup. Tommy batting .286. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
But you know how hitters just think they can take all the time in the world. So when you get a pitcher working quick, it is disruptive.
And it's something that in this day and age of baseball, you just don't see a guy work this fast.
No.
Pham on the 2-1, a high fly ball into left center. Kane calling for it and has it. Tommy gave it a ride, just shy of the wall. No score after a half inning. His record is 1-2, but his ERA under 2. Maybe pitching his best baseball of the year.
Well, he got off to a great start. His first 3 starts, he was very effective. Then he had 4 so-so starts, and now, as you said, he's pitched much better. He's lost the last 2, but he went 7 innings in each of them. And this is a team where he can rack up some strikeouts.
Kane, Yelich, and Aguilar here in the first, followed by Shaw, Braun, and VR, Pena, Saladino, and Suter. The lineup for Craig Counsell. It's a good lineup. It's a good team. Lorenzo Cain thriving in his reunion with the Brewers. Signed in the offseason after a good run in Kansas City. Hitting .295. He scored 33 runs. He has been the primary leadoff man. First pitch on a hop to Jed Jerko. 1 pitch and 1 out. Take a look at Luke Weaver's Hyundai pitch arsenal.
53% is going to be the fastball. He throws that about 93.4. A lot of changeups. That's very effective. Hitters are only hitting 188 against it. And then the curveball. He's had some troubles with the curveball at times, as the opponents are batting .333 on that pitch.
There's Christian Yelich. He's picked it up after a slow start. .214 his average in April. .315 here in the month of May.
Hit well against the Cardinals.
Kane, Yelich, and Aguilar, the top 3 of this lineup. They reached base 9 times, scored 6 runs yesterday in their win over the Mets. The 1-1. The changeup taken low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike. Yelich, even though he played in the National League East, no stranger to the Cardinals. All the games in spring training. Back-to-back changeups, and the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Changeup is very effective for a right-hander to the left-handed batters. And then the ability to spot that fastball. Important to run fastballs in so you give the outside part of the plate with the changeup.
So 1 out, nobody on. A count of 2-2 here in the bottom of the first on Christian Yelich. Luke Weaver's had pretty good success against the Brewers. 2-1 in 5 career starts. Struck out 10 in 1 game. Matter of fact, he's done it twice against the Brewers.
Yeah, 3 times he's had double figures in strikeouts, and 2 of them have been against Milwaukee.
Struck him out. First strikeout for Luke Weaver this afternoon. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs, Ozuna, Pham, and Bader in the outfield. Carpenter, Munoz, Jerko, Martinez along the infield, and Francisco Pena is behind the plate. Good to see Mike Schilt back. He was evaluated in Pittsburgh overnight and flew to Milwaukee this morning, and for those who don't know, he took a line drive off his head, the bat of Starling Marte yesterday, and it was a scary situation, but he's okay.
Guys were laughing about this. The trainers were helping him down in the tunnel going up to the training room. He was yelling back, "Is that all you got? Is that all you got?"
Mike is one of our favorites. Some call him the modern day George Kissel in the Cardinal system. He still carries a book that was given to him by the Kissel family of the teachings of the game, handwritten notes by George Kissel.
I think about that statement, and I'd say George would probably be very happy and take that as a supreme compliment.
The 2-1 pitch to Aguilar. 6 home runs in his last 10 games.
You mentioned that Thames is out with that thumb injury. Well, Aguilar had no playing time. You know, he basically was a pinch hitter the first time we saw him, but you know, he can swing the bat, and he's doing so now. Hit a big home run, 3-run home run yesterday.
The shift on the left side of the infield, the 3-1. Now 3-2. Hey, you think about it, he begins as really their third string first baseman, and as you mentioned, only a pinch hitter, but Braun is now playing every day in the outfield. Thames is out. Braun was getting some time at first, so Aguilar a chance to play.
Fastball away.
Struck him out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Luke Weaver. Coming up, Jerko, Ozuna, and Bader for St. Louis. Mike Schilt back in the house at 2 strikeouts in the bottom of the first for Luke Weaver. Suter, a guy that doesn't throw very hard. As a matter of fact, he's on a list with Hendricks, Cologne, and Suter, the slowest average fastball velocity, the GMC leaderboard. And the first pitch to Jed Jerko is skied into shallow center. Kane under it to make the catch, and that's 4 up and 4 down for Brent Suter.
It's all the high velocity throwers today. When you have somebody like Suter that throws below the comfort zone of a major league hitter, it can be very effective. And then because of that quick pitching, you know, the hitters are wanting to get set, they want to get time, they, you know, fiddling with their gloves, and all of a sudden he throws a pitch.
Talking with some of the players about these day games in Milwaukee this time of year, they mention how your at-bats are a lot easier at-bats early in a game because of the shadows that do become a factor in about an hour and a half or so. A strike to Ozuna, and it's 1-1. The roof is open, so that plays into it. The paneling as well, and Ozuna lines it into right field for a base hit. He's now 11 for his last 19, and that's a 6-game hitting streak for the Cardinal left fielder.
And that may have been the hardest hit ball during that 6-game hitting streak. He's had some ugly hits, but you know what? They count. And you love to see him utilize the entire field. That's something that Jose Martinez does so well, going to right.
It was a curious move, but boy, did it pay off. Righty-righty matchup to bring Bader into the game as a pinch hitter, and a bloop hit to tie the game with the bases loaded for St. Louis yesterday.
Kind of the same thing with Jed Jerko. That had Greg Garcia at the on-deck circle to face a right-hander, and they switched and had Jerko, and he got the big 2-run RBI base hit.
Wasn't much, just enough against Felipe Vasquez. Little flare into shallow right.
That tied the game.
And the Cardinals eventually won 6-4.
talking with Harrison today. You got these young players that, they're so accustomed to playing every day in the minor leagues to coming up here and trying to figure out how to be a bench player, a part-time player. It's tough on them. Harrison would say, I do everything anticipating I'm going to be in the lineup. And then if I'm not in the lineup, then I start preparing. I'll talk to Willie. I'll talk to Billy Miller, talk about situations.
I would think that John Mabry could really help out a guy like Bader, because John made a living off being a bench player.
Yeah, and I brought that up to him. I said, well, Mapes was, a terrific bench player, and it's the toughest job in baseball. And then to have a young player trying to do it. And Bader's numbers when he starts are so much better than when he comes off the bench. Same with Tyler O'Neill. But he's trying to adjust to it, but I think he does the right approach, assuming and doing all the work as if he was going to be in the lineup. And then he says, as the game progresses, I start studying tendencies of the relievers I may face.
And Bader hits it off a shooter. He'll step in, throw, and just gets him by a step.
Got him in the chest.
Sure did. He's walking around, wants the baseball as if he's okay. I'm telling you, Al, I said this, I guess it's a couple weeks now. I don't know what you do. I don't know how you do it, but I'm concerned about pitchers in this day and age of baseball. I don't know what you do, but the guys are bigger, they're stronger, pitchers throwing harder, the wood on the bat is better. People talk about the ball being tighter, which all leads to this great exit velocity, and these pitchers have no time to react. I don't know what you do, but I'm concerned.
I mean, I think what you will start seeing that they will wear helmets, the hardened hat. You deliver a pitch and you're almost like 55 feet there, and you have no time to react. So sometimes you will see a ball and you can't catch it. Other times you don't see it and you do catch it. Just your natural instincts throw the ball up there. It's kind of a shock when it first happens, but it'll get sore as the game goes along.
And we had a situation here with Tommy Pham, lined one off the head of Jimmy Nelson a couple of years ago, and the ball landed almost in the seats. Last year, I think about Luke Voigt against the Arizona Diamondbacks and Robbie Ray.
How about the collegiate level with the aluminum bat?
Sure.
I mean,
and Munoz loses the bat. That's about 10 rows deep.
And thank goodness it looked like it had that section where there's some empty seats. So I don't think it made contact with any patrons.
That's appropriate. Watch out for flying balls and bats. Well, it concerns me after watching Mike Schilt yesterday that dugouts don't have netting going further up. It concerns me when I see a bat boy standing unprotected or sitting unprotected near a dugout. I get concerned about an on-deck man. In this situation, if it was a lefty up and you had Pena on deck and he's tardy with his swing, there's no way you have time to react.
No.
Now that fan brought a glove and makes a nice play to protect the other fans.
They do have the netting here that extends down past the dugouts, but it's very low.
Yeah.
And that's how that bat got over the top of that netting. Munoz looks a little more comfortable this second time around the big leagues.
Sure does. 0-2 pitch. Strikes out here, and that's the second for Brent Suter. Midway through 2, Cardinals strand their first runner, and there's no score.
All right, Dan, thanks so much. Jairo Munoz just up at the plate, and of course, he back into the lineup because of the injury to Paul DeJong. Now, remember when he got called up during spring training, only had 2 hits in the month of April, but since being called up with the Cardinals when Paul DeJong went down with his injury, he's batting .471 right now. Talked to Jairo before today's game, and he told me that he's being more calm, more patient at the plate. That's something he worked on when he was down with the Memphis AAA team. Mike Matheny also said, hey, getting a chance to get more reps instead of coming off the bench, like Al was just talking about with Harris Bader, has also helped him out as well. By the way, Dan, I ran into Mike Schilt when he came in from Pittsburgh after his test in the clubhouse. He was doing good, and as we were sitting there talking, Willie McGee goes, Mike, how you doing? He goes, well, the test found I had nothing in my head whatsoever. So obviously he's got a good sense of humor with what transpired in a scary situation yesterday.
It was very scary as Shaw grounds out. That one almost got Luke Weaver. Just going to finish up my point. I think there's going to be a time, and whether it's 15, 20, maybe even sooner, 30 years, we're going to look back and people are going to say, are you kidding me? They actually had people standing in an on-deck circle, and there was no netting to cover a dugout, and pitchers did not have something that protected their temples and their forehead. Are you kidding me? Danny, I think it's coming.
Danny, it was, I don't know when it started, but probably around the 40s and 50s, you know, you didn't have helmets for the batters. You know, they had a little liner, you know, that was about 1/8 of an inch thick that would sit in the helmet. You know, and then people like Don Zimmer had to have a plate put in their head after being beamed.
But hockey goalies, they didn't wear masks.
Sign of manhood.
Sign of stupidity.
You said it. I was thinking it.
Craziness. Here's Ryan Braun, 1 ball and 1 strike. 5 home runs on the year. Batting .228. He's driven in 21.
And you have the old school saying, play sissy rules now. You can't run over a catcher. You can't take out a second baseman or shortstop. But they're doing a lot of things for the benefit of the players to try and keep them healthy.
The 2-1 pulled foul. Braun struggling this month, and
yeah,
you got to watch out for those dirt lines. They'll occasionally trip you up. And he's able to at least tip the cap. I mean, those lines can be dangerous. They'll get you every time.
Yeah.
Braun hitting .146 this month. No home runs and 41 at bats. Did spend some time on the DL. The 2-2 pitch.
Like you said, you know, he'd never played first base before this year, and with the acquisition of Kane and Yelich, you know, Broxton, their center fielder, hit 20 home runs last year, and he's in AAA.
A 3-2. Hits it the other way, and extra bases here for Braun down into the right field corner. Dug out by Bader. 1-out double.
Braun has had the most experience of facing Weaver, and now he's 6 for 16. See the ball up right there, and just takes it out to right field. Good piece of hitting there. A very good hitter.
The switch hitting, Jonathan Villar. A lot of strikeouts at a rate of 31%. So keep that in mind watching these 3 ball games against the Brewers. A lot of strikeouts, but production as well. This is the better side average wise for him. 293, 200 on the other side. And a pitch in the dirt.
He's got that speed. You want to keep him off the bases also. One thing Weaver knows is that you do have the ability to strike these Brewers out. That just seems to be a constant for a couple decades.
Here's a 1-0. It's sharply and gloved by Martinez. Flipped to Weaver. Takes a hit and an RBI away. Nicely done by Jose Martinez.
Jose's going to get better and better over there. I know people have been critical, but remember, he's trying to learn a new position at the big league level. And as you said, that some of these times rockets come off the bat. Make a few plays like that, then you gain a little more confidence.
There's Manny Pena, a career .258 hitter, but hitting just .209 this year. 4 for his last 24. Braun at third with 2 down. Miller Park is really filled up. Big crowd here on Memorial Day. The roof open, beautiful weather. And a team that's hot, that's won 5 straight series after taking 3 of 4 against the Mets.
Actually have a better winning percentage on the road than they do at home.
We were talking before the game, a team that actually inside the division hasn't played their best baseball.
Yeah, I was making the point the Cardinals are they are 16-8 in the Central Division, and the Brewers are 3 games under 500 in the Central Division.
A 2-out base hit into center. Manny Pena makes it 1-0 Milwaukee.
Bad pitch down there, but a better piece of hitting. Just goes down and gets it. And Weaver's kicking himself a little bit, allowing that base hit for 2 outs, and the 8th place hitter coming up.
Tyler Saladino, regular shortstop, as we talked about. Orlando Arcia sent back to AAA to work specifically on his hitting. Arcia, a guy that played every day a year ago. It seemed like he played every inning. And when you look at the defensive metrics of shortstops, he's one of the best in the game, but they're trying to get his bat going too. Here's the 0-1 pitch to the 8th place hitter. Make it 0-2.
Always give hitters credit, but sometimes pitchers make a mistake of giving them too much credit. You got to believe that your ability, your stuff is good enough to get anybody out.
Cardinals have 3 here in Milwaukee. This is the first of the 3. And then back home Thursday against Pittsburgh, 4-game series. Cardinals then will enjoy an off day on Monday. 3 games with Miami. That's the upcoming homestand in St. Louis. And the 1-2 pitch to Saladino. Seeing a lot of cutters to the right-handed batters, and the changeup not quite as sharp as it was early on.
Sometimes in the course of the game, you kind of lose control of the pitch, the release point. Maybe they're doing that a little bit with the changeup, but I really thought in Flaherty's last start that Francisco Pena caught him and did a great job, because early in that game he didn't have his slider, and all of a sudden he made him throw the changeup and got some big pitches with it.
And a strikeout third of the afternoon for Weaver. A 2-out RBI base hit to center by Pena to drive in Ryan Braun. Coming up, batting third in the third will be Matt Carpenter. Pena, Weaver, Carpenter coming up. 16 and older take home a Cardinals Saturday alternate jersey with embroidered front logo, courtesy of Scott Credit Union. Also before the game, you'll be granted field access. It's photo day coming up and a part of the rich kickoff to summer weekend. It was the first time the Cardinals had made a change to their jerseys in 2013 since 1998, when they added that third alternate jersey, St. Louis on the front instead of Cardinals. That's the first time since 1932. Well, with the cream color and the piping, I love it. Big fan.
And that giveaway, it's embroidered. I've seen it. I mean, that's going to be, people are going to be, that's going to be their favorite. Doesn't have a name on it, so you can put your own name on it or your favorite player.
Or, as many know, if you have 39 and Raboski on the back, Al will sign all of them. All of them.
Thank you, Dan.
You've been very kind over the years to do that. As I suggested a few years ago on a telecast, how many people come up to you and say, hey, by the way, I heard Dan say this, we mind signing Hungo?
It does happen.
I'm sorry.
But you know what? Someday nobody's going to want it, so I'm honored when they do.
It's great. Pena hits it down the left field line, foul.
I was making the point at Pena when he caught Flaherty that Jack Flaherty, we know he's got that wipeout slider. You know, struck out 13 against Philadelphia, and in the game against Pittsburgh, he didn't quite have that same slider. And so I think Pena really got him to throw the changeup a little bit more effective. He had a real big strikeout in that game with the changeup, and it just gave him that other weapon, gave him another pitch for hitters to think about. And as the game progressed, then he got the feel for the slider at the end.
A strikeout there, Pena. That's number 3 today for Suter. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks. Al, is that pitch a good example of, even though if you don't throw hard, you got soft, 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 but you get it up in the zone, guys just, it looks like it's 98.
Yeah, well, it's at eye level, so you see it so clearly, so you think you can hit it, but it's just up above a normal swing. And, you know, most of the time you get a swing and miss or you get a pop-up.
That's pretty well hit off the bat of Luke Weaver, but Kane is there to make the catch. And out number 2.
I know some of the viewers kind of question when you see a pitcher wear a single-digit number like Weaver, it's number 7. You know, I asked him about that, and he said it was his favorite number in high school and college. And he also says, I feel like I'm a complete baseball player. I can feel my position. I can swing the bat a little bit. I can run bases. I want to be known as more than just a pitcher, and that's why I wear number 7.
Pretty good athlete. Here's Carpenter, grounded out to second base. Hitting .422 since the middle of May.
How about the doubles?
You know, I think we were starting to see it at the end of the previous road trip in Minnesota. And I thought Jim Edmonds brought up a very good point. He said at times as a hitter, if you're a lefty and you have a lefty-lefty matchup and you see a lot of pitches, it can get you out of a slump. You know, you foul some back. He said you may strike out, but if you see a lot of pitches, which he did in that final game in Minnesota, that's what can get you out of a slump.
And yet it's a fine line, because when you are in a slump, the one thing that you don't want to do is become, you know, lose your aggression. You want to be aggressive. And so it's, for Carpenter, I think it's a little different for him.
I love it. 3-0, drop down a bunt. Why not? Base hit. He's got to do that, I think. Why not? They're going to give it to you, take it.
Well, you know, when he did it in Pittsburgh, it was leading off an inning and made perfect sense. But here, even with 2 outs, you bring up a dangerous hitter. So if they've got everybody shifted right there, just practice. You can go pick up a base hit at will. You don't even have to make a good bunt. You just don't have to. You just have to push it away from the catcher and far enough away from the pitcher, and you walk down to first.
Think about a long season and picking up 2 bunt hits a week, and where your average is by the end of the year.
You'll be over 300.
Yeah.
And as you said, when you get into a certain situation, you know, they aren't going to put that shift on because they know he can beat you with it.
Here's a 1-0. Ooh, big swing and a miss by Jose Martinez. Struck out swinging first time up.
You throw like this and you're going to go, why is getting swing and misses from a good 300 hitter? He's putting it on the corners, taking a little off, you know, adding a little bit. So he went away. That one in on his hands, and that's what he can do. Suter can spot that fastball very effectively.
Also cuts the ball really well,
yeah,
too.
He'll cut it a little bit. It's just, you know, a variation of the fastball.
So Carpenter at first base on the bunt on a 3-0 pitch. His second bunt single in his last 3 games. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Jose Martinez.
Sorry, Manny Pena right there. I was wondering why he was pounding the dirt so soon, because Martinez could, you know, as he's setting his position, he can see the catcher pounding the dirt, you know, saying, oh, it's going to be a breaking ball in the dirt. And then the last second, after he's looking out towards the pitcher, he's asking for the ball up. Now watch him pound like this. And then now he wants the ball up.
1-2 the count. Shadows edging closer to the batter's box.
They've got real good late inning pitching, but that is a factor too, Danny.
No question. And Martinez hits it high in the air out to shallow right. Christian Yelich under it and makes the catch. Midway through 3, and it's 1-0 Milwaukee. The difference thus far, the BJC Healthcare difference maker, fewest runs allowed, innings 1 through 6. That's about starting pitching, and the Cardinals have had plenty of that.
They really have starting pitching, and it just seems like they're feeding off of each other. But this last time around, or the last 6-7 starts for Mike Maddox's rotation have been outstanding.
Here's the pitcher, Brent Suter, to lead it off here in the bottom of the 3rd. Thinking about what you were mentioning in that number 7, rare to have a single digit for a pitcher. Some of the great number 7s worn in sports. Mickey Mantle.
Yeah. First one you think
that's
of.
number 1. John Elway, he wore number 7. Phil Esposito in hockey. along with Ted Lindsay.
I faced Elway in a baseball game.
Did you really? That's line to second. Nice play by Jerko.
Oh, that shot. Jerko's kind of like trying to pull his arm back in, pulled it out of the socket there, but just a rocket. See where he's positioned. Step or two right there, and you don't have much time to react. Even that's not even close to the hot corner. But yeah, it was an old timers game in Denver, and you know he signed with the Yankees, and he wore number 7 on a baseball diamond. And you can see he was pretty good athlete, a very good athlete, obviously, but had some pretty good baseball skills.
The threat of going to baseball changed the history of football. Wound up in Denver and became one of the great QBs in the history of the sport. Here's a 2-0 pitch to Lorenzo Cain.
Say, of all the Cardinal pitchers, Weaver may be the best at being able to really go up the top of the strike zone with his fastball.
Out to left. Didn't get all of it. It sounded good, but carries all the way to Ozuna for the out. We came back from break. There was a standing ovation, and that was for Dale Height, 94 years young. Part of the Normandy invasion on Omaha Beach, and recognized by the crowd here on Memorial Day. Wonderful ovation. There he is, Dale Height. Thank you, sir, for your service. There's Christian Yelich, takes a ball.
Think about it, Dan. We've been at war for nearly 2 decades, all volunteer.
Two balls, no strikes. Yelich struck out first time up. Hammered that out to deep right on a 2-0 pitch. He makes it 2-0.
You strike out the first time and you kind of teaches you what you're going to get. But you see right there, belt high on the inner part of the plate, just turns on it, gets his arms extended, turns on it, hits it off the back wall of the Cardinal bullpen.
Ball was smoked.
Yes.
Now Aguilar struck out swinging first time up. He's got 9 home runs, with 7 of the 9 coming in his last 17 games. A shift on the left side of the infield. 2 balls and no strikes.
He had a big 3-run home run that got him back, and then a 4th RBI. He drove in the first 4 runs of yesterday's comeback win. They had to come back twice in that game against the Mets.
Jesus Aguilar. Long power that he possesses. Swinging. Nice play here by Munoz. Gets up, shows off the arm. What a play by Munoz. Aguilar on a 3-0 pitch. Hit it sharply to the Cardinals shortstop. Nice play. Golf's strongest field competes in the PGA Championship. Limited tickets remain for Monday's opening day through Thursday's opening round. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. PGAchampionship.com for tickets. I was talking with Brian Anderson, who does the play-by-play on the television side for the Milwaukee Brewers. He'll be on the call for the PGA Championship. Had a meeting this past week, and they said they are ecstatic about what's happening. There's Brian with what's happening at Belle Reve. A swing and a miss. He carves up Pham and a quick strikeout to begin play here in the top of the fourth. That's 4 today for Brent Suter.
There's that pitch that's up that you see so well, but you just don't get your arms high enough to make solid contact. Contact and usually swing and miss, or you pop it up. Either way, it's a pitcher's pitch.
Strikeout against this lefty can happen in a hurry if you don't step out like Tommy Pham. He stays in the batter's box. And you know Suter is wasting no time. Quickly, nothing at 2 on Jerko. Hitting .284 coming into this at bat. And the 0-2 pitch. Struck him out.
So again, they're setting up high.
5 strikeouts for Suter.
Right at top there, and you know Jerko can turn on any fastball, but working quickly and also a little bit below the hitting zone, it's just uncomfortable to these guys.
Well, Ozuna, you know, he's getting the base hits. We're not seeing a lot of power. What do you see out of Marcel?
You know, I don't see the patience. You know, it seems like he's swinging a lot of pitches that are way in on him. And it's kind of a, you know, where a guy that has such a quick bat, at times it's almost sweeping. He's not really getting that extension. It's just kind of like pulling the hands in and sweeping.
I mentioned it the other day, and to further your point of a guy that is jumpy or anxious like you're talking about. I mean, it's like he's trying to hit a 5-run homer every time.
Right.
There he
right
is.
There.
Yeah. Out in front, hits it off the end of the bat. An easy inning for Brent Suter. 2-0 Milwaukee on this Memorial Day. And 30,000 fans 16 and older receive a stainless steel tumbler featuring Yadier Molina, courtesy of Apple Vacations. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Pittsburgh will be in town.
So you get either a gold one to signify his 8 gold gloves, or you get a platinum one for his platinum. You win the first 2 or 3 of those. And Well, we miss Yachty, don't we?
4 ways in 1.
Yes.
Part of the rebuild of the Brewers, the addition of Travis Shaw prior to last season, our key drive to success. Acquired for Tyler Thornburg, and big numbers for Shaw.
One-sided deal.
Sure is. Talk about it all the time. A good baseball deal is one that benefits both sides. And Boston thought they were getting a dominant reliever. Unfortunately for him, he got hurt. That's part of it.
He's been hurt, and Travis Shaw got a chance to play every day, and he's shown that he's a very good baseball player.
Thornburg has yet to pitch for Boston.
Right.
A fly ball lifted into right field. Andre Bader to make the catch.
Hey, you want to send a big birthday wishes, a little bit late, but John Pringle turned 70 years of age over the weekend, and we just want to wish him, big Cardinal fan. He can't wait to see Yachty. You know, and all things considered, you know, Pena, and now we got Carson Kelly here. You know, they're holding fort. You know, doing a nice job with the pitching staff, and you know, Munoz, now that he's getting a chance to play a little bit. The 2 guys you didn't think you could replace were Yachty and Paul DeYoung. Not saying they've replaced him, but they've.
There's a base hit into right, and Braun 2 for 2.
They've held serve with the absence of those 2 big bats. Braun, like I said, he's the one that had the most at bats and the most success against Weaver, and it's continued today.
He's the 4th player ever after today's start with 1,500 games with the Brew Crew. Game number 1,500 for Ryan Braun. His first game was May 25th of 2007. Made his debut.
You know the other 3? Yount,
Molitor, and Gantner.
Gantner.
Right?
I would think. I mean, been around a long time. I know he's on the coaching staff too.
That was my guess. First game against the National League in the big leagues was against the San Diego Padres. LA native Ryan Braun making his debut.
Remember, he was a third baseman, and he'd drive in runs, but he'd give them up too.
And we're told it was Gantner who was 3rd on that list. So Ryan Braun 4th all time in games played. Robin Yount nearly 3,000.
Robin was going to quit at one time and become a pro golfer.
I think he made the right choice.
Yes, he did.
Two strikes on VR.
I've seen him 96 and a few pitches there. That was 94, but
oh boy, the Cardinals throw it away. Not sure if that was a catchable ball or not for Martinez. It'll be an error on somebody here. It's an error on Weaver, his first.
I thought the throw was just a little bit, and Martinez is kind of walking around like he might have hurt his thumb or something. Yeah, it definitely was a tough catch with the runner going sliding back in.
Puts Braun in scoring position. Villar has driven in 13 on the year. The 0-2. Trying to go with that elevated fastball. One ball and 2 strikes. 2-2.
Again, you talk about the shadows, but sometimes we forget about sometimes the fielders, you know, are seeing that ball come in and out of the shadow.
talked to many players. They say it's hard, especially outfielders, obviously, to get a jump.
They love hitting here. Every hitter was talking about a great backdrop.
Especially when the paneling and the roof is open, you get a jet stream, especially to left center. That's the backdrop there, and
it's so
they
high.
rave about it.
Yeah, it's so high and so wide. And with some of these pitchers that are so tall, remember we have in Jupiter, if there's a left-handed pitcher that is 6'5" or 6'6", a lot of times they can't see the release point because it's above the backdrop in Jupiter.
That's out of play and a souvenir. A lot of red here at the ballpark. Cardinal fans have made the trip to Milwaukee. They seem to travel very well here.
Always have. Cardinals have always played well in this ballpark. As you said, last year was the first year that they had won the season series against the Cardinals.
And the 3-2. So from 3-0 to 3-2, and then a walk. MLB at Bat, your #1 Cardinals app. Customize your experience. Catch every moment this season. Cardinals home screen icons. Features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day. And you can download MLB at Bat this afternoon. That's one that bothers you because of the fact that VR strikes out so much, and you're ahead 0-2. There's Manny Pena. He is grounded into a team-high 8 double plays.
9 sounds great, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. And strike one. Cardinals pitchers inducing the second most double plays in the National League, behind San Francisco.
Well, sometimes that could be a real misleading stat.
It means hard hit balls sometimes.
Well, or it means you got a bad pitching staff. Everybody hits the ball. Or in the Cardinals' case, it's a good pitching staff that gets a lot of ground balls.
One ball and one strike. Starts in the sun, then in the shade.
Spin right there. You pick up the dot. Ryan Braun saw it well.
Pena had a 2-out single into center to drive in Ryan Braun back in the second inning. That made it 1-0. Solo home run by Yelich made it 2-0. Fouled back.
Good cut on that 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Usually when the ball is fouled back right over the shoulder of the catcher, you know that he's pretty much on it. So you either got to take something off or add something to it. Go to a wrinkle, a breaking ball.
And the 1-2 pitch. Time called and granted late. You know, the beginning of a game, it's tough to judge when you come to Milwaukee what kind of crowd you're going to have. We had a ton of empty seats at the first pitch, but they're all out tailgating. And now you look around the crowd and the building is packed.
And remember that Munoz throwing the bat into the stands? It was harmless when it happened, but if it did it now, it would do some damage.
Again, trying to elevate.
Sometimes you kind of get a little bit too far underneath and you're almost pushing it.
.28 balls, 34 strikes.
Not characteristic of Weaver.
The 2-2 pitch. Got him to reach, and it's popped up. Infield fly. And the catch made by Jerko for the out.
That's what he was hoping he could have done in the first time up. Pena got the RBI and drove in the first run of the game.
Tyler Saladino has played all over the diamond. He's at shortstop now with RC in the minor leagues. That's where he's had the primary starts, but he's been at second, he's been at third, DH. He's pinch run 3 different times. So 2 outs and 2 on. He struck out swinging first time up. Here's a 1-0. Outfield straight away, shallow in center. The 2-0 pitch, Weaver. There's a strike, 2-1. Different ways to wear the eye black. Our director Tommy fixated on Saladino. I mean, he is telling us how much he appreciates the eye black of Saladino.
Tommy's got a fetish for eye black. Oberman's got for foam fingers. A lot of kind of weirdness in that truck.
Takes all kinds.
Oh yeah.
3 balls, 1 strike. The pitcher on deck. And he walked him. So 2 walks in the inning, 2 in the game. And the bases will be loaded for Brent Suter, who lined out 101 miles per hour. A liner to second baseman Jed Jerko back in the 3rd inning.
I was going to say that ball was hit as hard as any ball we've seen today. And Mike Maddox going to slow down. Sometimes in a game, you know, you let your emotions get away from you, and that's one thing I was talking with Mike Maddox about, the quality of arms that the pitchers that the Cardinals have. And he made a very good point. He said it's not only the arms, but it's arms of guys under 25, and then guys that are really mature. And you know, you don't have the head cases that you really, you know, really say a thrower. You got young pitchers that have really good ideas what they want to do, but even veterans need a reminder now and then to just kind of slow things down and don't let the game get away from you.
I hear that, and I think about development. You know, Brian Eversgerd was in the minor leagues for so many years now, the bullpen coach, but helping many of the guys we're seeing here today.
And that's what was another point. He mentioned development.
Suter on the first pitch, hits it out of play. He does everything fast. He's up there swinging first pitches.
Why not?
It's a pitch to hit. He's going for it.
It's usually the first one in the shower, too.
I got to be honest, I wouldn't know about that, but I'll take your word for it.
I mean, from the fact that he's never pitched in the 6th inning, so he's getting to the shower quicker than the others. Now, we almost need Jim Hayes, the cat, to work on that one, don't we?
He doesn't miss his story.
Oh, I had fun with Jimmy the last 3 days.
0-2 fouled back.
He did miss you.
Oh, is that right?
I offered to bring a letter from him to you,
can only imagine what it might say. Jim working in the studio and hosting our pregame and postgame shows. Here's the 0-2 pitch in the dirt. And the 1-2. 2-2. Doesn't get the call there. Really grinding through this bottom of the fourth, Luke Weaver. When a Suter can swing the bat, this is a very important at bat. Two-two pitch. Taps it foul.
Cutter there, trying to show good respect to him that, you know, he knows pretty good fastball hitter.
You know, because of that, Marcell Ozuna, in my mind, is playing way too deep for Suter and left. If he beats you over the head, I mean, he's got to hit it to the track.
Yeah, he is batting .231 with a home run.
Pham shallow in center. Ozuna near the line in left, but still fairly deep.
Big gap in right center.
Yep. The 2-2 pitch. That's what I'm talking about there. If you're going to go in on his hands, boy, how many times do you see it? Guy gets one on his hands, left-handed batter fights it off and just hits that little flare to left.
Yeah, and it would be more than likely 2 runs. They're already down by 2. Crowd likes with the bat. It's been a good one.
Long look by Weaver, now set, and another 2-2 pitch. Pulls it under the glove of Martinez. 2 runs will score. Here comes another throw to the plate. It is in time, but 2 runs score and a ball under the glove of Martinez to make it 4-0 Milwaukee. hit on the ball under the glove of Jose Martinez could have been the final out. Instead, it leads to 2 runs. Jerko chased it down and threw a strike to the plate.
But 2-run score at first. Good play by Pena there. You got to give him a lane, so you get it, then you have to dive back and try and get him. He tags him before he gets to home plate, but Suter just helped his own cause with driving in 2. It was a curveball, the 8th pitch of the at-bat, and just pulled it right underneath the glove of 6'7" Martinez.
Harrison Bader, Jairo Munoz, Francisco Pena for the Cardinals here in the top of 5. Bader grounded back to Suter, first time up. The Cardinals with a total of 2 hits. And the first pitch taken for a ball. And Bader a base hit into left field. See if St. Louis can't get something going here. Bader now 1 for 2, and it brings in Munoz.
Yeah, and that's one thing about Suter is, he just is not going to go deep into a game. I know what we call 5 and fly. He does not have any quality starts, and he has not pitched in the 6th. He's not gone past 5 2/3 this year.
Here in the month of May, 3-1, much better ERA. Opponent's average is dipped to 247. Jairo Munoz will never forget this ballpark. It was back on April 2nd that he had his first ever major league hit. And in this game, he came up with a dandy at shortstop. Terrific play deep in the hole.
And then, like you said, he's got a cannon of an arm. So if he can stop the ball, he can throw you out. But that was a hard hit ball and kind of pulled his shoulder out of the socket as it takes a bad hop.
1 ball, 1 strike. We will have game 2 for you tomorrow night. Michael Wacha and Zach Davies. Debut will be Wednesday of Alex Reyes. Then the club back home Thursday. Munoz hits it a ton out to deep left. This may go. Gone! Just over the wall, his first ever major league home run. He got his first hit here. And now his first ever major league homer, cuts a lead in half to 4-2.
His first game-winning RBI, and yesterday's game when he walked. And here he gets them on the scoreboard and cuts that lead in half.
Well, he went down to get that.
Yes, he did. Curveball coming in, another off-speed pitch away from him. He goes and hooks it. That ball got out of here quickly.
And now Francisco Pena lines it foul down the right field line, and a happy Jairo Munoz.
Yeah, it's such a great spring. And broke with the ball club, but he didn't play much, and so it really was tough. And where the strikeouts mounted when he was the first time he was here, but you go down and all of a sudden you kind of settle in, play a little bit every day, and now this time he's getting a chance to play more regular, and we're seeing the offense.
And you see timing, you see a chance to play.
Yep.
A little rhythm to your at bats.
And the thing about him too is he can play any place. And I remember Mike Matheny, his son Tate, played against Munoz and said, "Oh, Dad, he's a great center fielder." He goes, "No, he's an infielder." "No, Dad, he played center field. He's great."
That's a foul ball off the bat of Pena. He may have sold it. I'm not sure if that was. And neither was Travis Shaw. He wasn't sold yet. But they rule it a foul ball. 1-2 the count. You could play shortstop and center field. You could find a home.
You better believe it.
Two of the toughest positions to play in the game, and versatility spring training, we saw him play second, short, third. I saw him in center, and I saw him in right field.
And with his arm, you probably wouldn't feel too bad to have put him on the mound.
Broke his bat.
Another player, infielder in the Max
Schrock, yeah.
Schrock, and never saw him because he got hurt right away in spring training, but off to a great start at Memphis, and they said he's a real player also. Compensation for Piscotti with the Oakland trade.
And while it worked out obviously to get Steven closer to home, it also was a good baseball deal, it looks like, on both sides.
Both sides.
The 1-2 is a fair ball, backhanded by Shaw. The first out here in the top of the 5th. And that's going to be it for Luke Weaver. Tyler O'Neill will pinch hit. So Mike Matheny will go to his pen.
I guess Mike's bullpen isn't as thin as we thought it might be. Of course, we were thinking at the back end of it. And there's some guys that'll get an opportunity to maybe throw a couple innings and have a little fun out there.
And you also say part of the matchup here, a power right-handed bat against Suter. So, you know, he's rolling the dice early because of the very good bullpen too
And,
that the Brewers have.
Good point. And also I think it's a little psychology. Tough day for O'Neill yesterday, 4 punch outs. Get him back out there as soon as you can. Just one, you're telling him, hey, we haven't lost any faith in you, so don't you get down. You know it's tough. And we're talking
Six strikeouts.
Talk about Bader, and you talk about O'Neill, even Munoz, when we saw the first time, when they are accustomed playing every day, and then they have to come in and pitch hitting roles, it's just tough. But with O'Neill, you get that superpower and you get a lot of strikeouts.
So 2 down, and here's Carpenter. So on Saturday, a leadoff homer. Yesterday, a double off the wall. Today, a bunt on a 3-0 pitch, and because of that, Travis Shaw has to play in. Respect that, so you don't see the. Well, that's driven out to deep right. Don't worry about the bunt. Goodbye. Matt Carpenter goes deep. 6th home run. 2nd hit today. And we've got a game. It's now 4-3.
In this ballpark, no lead is ever safe. And you got 2 good hitting ball clubs. The Cardinals are starting to feel their oats, but I think they just love hitting in this ballpark.
That ball got out in a hurry.
And you see Dexter Fowler there smiling. It's almost like he was looking for something in. Then you see that launch angle where he's uppercutting that one. Picks up his 6th home run.
Jose Martinez, 4-3 our score. Starting to stretch in the Brewers pen, but no one throwing.
Maybe the guys wanted the shadows to come in.
Well, now the pitcher is in the shadows, so it doesn't come out of the sun into the shadow. As Martinez hits a high fly ball out to right. Yelich makes the catch. 2-run homer by Munoz, his first in the big leagues. That followed a single by Bader. This one just over the wall in left. And Carpenter a line shot into right. We've got a ball game. It's now 4-3. Run homer. Matt Carpenter is solo homer, his 6th of the year. And it's a 4-3 score. Cardinals go to their bullpen. Mike Myers. Bullpen yesterday exceptional for the Cardinals. 3 innings, a couple of strikeouts, no base runners. So Chevy called to the pen. Myers had the sensational spring, but he's been on that shuttle back and forth, Memphis to St. Louis.
Yeah, and it's really tough to pitch that way. You know, when you're a young pitcher and you're not being established, you're not getting those reps. Remember, it seemed like he waited a long time once the season started to get in his first, or I think between his first and second appearance. So this may be a nice time to come see him pitch multiple innings.
And a fastball taken inside by Lorenzo Cain. He's grounded to second and flied out to left. 4-3 our score. Milwaukee, if you just joined us on this Memorial Day, jumped out to a 4-0 lead. And the Cardinals have come back with 3 in the top of 5. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He touched on it and said after a very impressive spring, probably you make an argument that he was the most impressive Myers in spring training.
I thought he was.
Saw just a gritty determination that I belong in the big leagues and I'm going to prove it. But no longer a starter, going to make him a reliever, and all of a sudden the velocity was there and a wipeout slider.
Two 2-1 pitch.
I hate to think there was a worse outing than his major league debut, but you learn from that. And I think this spring he was determined that I could pitch at this level, and he showed it in spring training.
Now we saw the young man that made a debut for Cincinnati. I think you were doing the game with me. And the Cardinals, he did not record an out, and he gave up either 2 or 3 home runs.
Yes, yeah.
That was a tough one, too.
That was a tough one, too. But
Mike's game on national TV on Sunday Night Baseball against the Dodgers. Clearly, the club thinks he's got good stuff. If not, he wouldn't be here. 3-2, and he walked him. Cain, got to keep an eye on him. 11 stolen bases this year.
It's 5 days since he pitched last, and that was just a third of an inning.
Back into third inning on a 2-0 pitch with 2 outs. Christian Yelich. All the runs today from Milwaukee scored with 2 outs against Weaver, who went 4 innings, 4 runs on 5 hits, struck out 3, walked 2. The lead by Cain at first base.
And here's part of the problem. When you're carrying 8 relievers, it's hard to keep everybody, you know, on schedule and sharp. Myers on May the 6th won the ball game with 3 innings. Really great pitching. Since May the 6th, he's thrown a total of 2 innings.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. One of Al's keys to the game was hopefully seeing Weaver go deep. Not sure about Norris and Holland. They pitched in back-to-back games and what that might look like the back end of this game. So you thought Myers may come in, and here he is. Here's a 1-0 pitch to, well, now another throw over. A little more on the bullpen situation. Checking with Scott Warman.
All right, Danny, thanks. Talked to Mike Matheny before today's game about this situation. Obviously very pleased with what happened the last 2 games in Pittsburgh. He said that going to have to go deep into this bullpen. We pressed him as far as if he was limited today. He didn't say that they were limited, but he also didn't say no. He'd really play a little poker, so to speak. But you would have to imagine, I know you and I were talking about it, that especially with Jordan Hicks going 2 2/3, that he probably would be off limits here today in this first game against the Brewers.
We'll see how it plays out. And that was time granted late. That's how you get somebody hurt. I know you don't like seeing that.
No. You know, and you, as a pitcher, you got to go ahead and execute the pitch. You know, because you try and stop that late in your delivery, you can injure yourself. So go ahead, free shot it, take it where you want. The pitcher, or excuse me, the hitter or the umpire, throw it at him.
That's old school. That's old school, Al.
Absolutely.
Did you do that if they called time?
Yeah.
You threw it at an umpire?
I threw it right. I threw between them, and I didn't throw it as hard, but I threw it.
Message sent. Literally.
You want to call it that late? There's a consequence.
The next two, Yelich.
See how he's at the extreme edge of the third base side of the rubber. A lot of times, to me, that means he wants to pitch away. Having a little trouble getting there, so you know he goes that far on the rubber so he can pitch to the outside part. The real key to pitching, though, is can you successfully pitch to your glove side? With that slider too, to a left-handed batter or change up, you know. But here he gets setting up outside again after a throw to first.
The 3-2 now to Yelich. Little chopper towards second. Jerko gets a lead man. It's one of those tough plays. Do you come in? You do have the runner coming there. Short hop, play it back. Jed very solid defensively.
And that high hopper, little shovel pass there, and then Munoz got a good arm, but more than likely you're going to throw the ball away. Old days of play like that was where shortstop could really get knocked into left field.
You were talking about that earlier. I'm with you. It's all about protecting the players, and I agree with that. I just miss it. I miss seeing guys getting taken out at second base and the collision at home plate. But it is to protect the players.
Yeah.
There's Aguilar. He struck out and grounded out. That ground out was to short. It was a great play by Jairo Munoz. Aguilar might be the player of the month in the National League. 8 home runs. He's driven at 22. 10 walks at 7 doubles, all in May. Mike Myers is saying, how about a double play? He's grounded into 2 this year.
Now you see here with a right-handed batter, he's still on that same third base side of the rubber. So it helps him to get inside to a right-handed batter. You see how far off the plate Aguilar is. But also with his slider, he knows he can pitch to the outside part of the plate.
Two and two.
Fooled the big man. Off-speed pitch there. Kind of overthrew that slider a little bit, but fooled the hitter.
Be interesting to see how many innings the Cardinals can get out of Mike Myers here today. Middle of their lineup coming up, so won't see him for a while, more than likely. It's low and outside, and the count runs full. We'll see if they want to start the runner, Yelich.
What you'd love to do is see him score about 4 runs and his spot comes up and still let him pitch, but pitching with the lead.
Yelich not running, and the pitch hit out of play.
Well, Dan, you saw how long it took Myers to throw that pitch. That part of that was by design to take the spring out of the base runner. And I'm not sure he didn't want to steal, but he knew he just didn't get a good jump, so he was afraid to. If you don't have a good jump, you don't run. And remember, the Cardinals have not thrown out a base runner yet this year, but they've also had the fewest steals against them.
3-2, and he caught him looking with the strikeout. And Myers has his first strikeout of the afternoon.
It's that slider again. Freezes the big man.
The team leader in homers and runs driven in is Travis Shaw. 0 for 2 today, grounded to short, flied out to right. It's 6 hits, 5 runs scored last 2 games against the Mets over the weekend. And Yelich back in safely. Want to buy or sell tickets at the last minute? Get the StubHub app. You can grab 100% MLB verified tickets until the first pitch. Sell your extras to another fan. Get the StubHub app today. StubHub, official partner of your St. Louis Cardinals. 4-3 our score. Bottom of 5. Hope you're enjoying your Memorial Day.
You know, Ron Kulpa is. He liked my comment about throwing at the umpire.
Really? And he himself is an umpire. St. Louis based.
But he wants to fancy himself as a young, old school guy.
Broken bat into shallow right. That fly ball will drop. Yelich to third, and runners at the corners.
There's no chance. Bader knew that that ball was going to be way in front of him because it broke the bat. Wasn't going to carry, but had no chance of catching it, but he got it back to the infield as quick as possible.
Man, not much you can do with this. A broken bat single.
Just beyond Jerko, the second baseman, going out and inside of Bader. Sometimes you make a good pitch and you don't get rewarded for it.
Ryan Braun 2 for 2. Double to right. Also a single to right. So good at just serving the ball the opposite way. Lets it get deep.
Not trying to do too much. A pretty good pitch. And I heard you several times over the weekend talk about the value of putting a ball in play.
Oh yeah,
it's so true.
I'm harping on it. That's my new thing. This day and age, so many teams striking out.
The strikeout has become glorified. You know, they say, well, an out's an out. No, it's not. Put a ball in play, good things can happen. It could fall in, it could be an error, it could, you know, move runners along, but a strikeout, nothing happens good.
Well, Myers has just missed on a couple of pitches, and now hitters count to one of the better hitters in the game in Ryan Braun. 2 balls and no strikes. Saw that last weekend with the Phillies. A couple of times put the ball in play and they threw it around. The 2-0. 2-1. Showed that slider in hitters counts, and it's been a good pitch.
That's what you got to believe, that you can get people out here and your stuff is good enough. And that's what we saw from Myers in spring training.
2-1 pitch to Braun. Into center. Drops in. The run scores. It's misplayed in center by Pham. No one at the bag at second. And because of that, Shaw to third. And Braun to second to make it 5-3. And Braun may have broken his bat on that. So two.
Yeah. I'm sure he did. It didn't. It sounded like a broken bat. So infielders going out. They can't get there. Tommy Pham comes in here and kind of swipes at it and misses it. And Shaw's got the play in front of him. And he's ready to stop there until he sees the ball that Tommy Pham overran it for his third error of the season. Ron 3 for 3, an RBI, and gets himself in scoring position here. Sometimes, you mentioned earlier, sometimes you don't get rewarded. Just what we're talking about. You don't get rewarded. You make a good pitch, but they put the ball in play, and good things can happen.
This becomes a very important at bat right here with VR, with runners in scoring position and just a 2-run Brewers lead. So 2 singles on broken bats. And again, another run scores with 2 outs. All 5 have scored with 2 outs by Milwaukee today.
Well, Braun came in batting .228. He's 3 for 3. Of course, this game is more indicative of the hitter he is and not the slow start after coming off the DL.
And a ball inside. VR was robbed by Jose Martinez in the second inning. Walked and scored in the fourth. 5-3 our score.
Pitch ahead in the count.
13th time that Ryan Braun has had a 3-hit game against the Cardinals. He's at second, Shaw at third, and fouled back. 2-1. The 2-1 pitch. 2-2.
Throw the ball. That's it. 97. I think that's what they see, you know, as a reliever, that he can go out there with that good slider, several miles an hour on the fastball. You're going out for brief times. Let it fly.
2-2. Out of play. That's what we saw in spring training. It looked like a guy that said, I've got nothing to lose.
Right.
And let it all out. Saw him hit 98 one night, 99 another.
I mean, there's no doubt he's got a big league arm, and he's got the ability. Just needs to have a couple good outings and gain that confidence. And then for Mike to gain confidence in him also to use him more frequently.
The 2-2 struck him out. 97 on the gun. Milwaukee picks up a run. They add to the lead. It's 5-3 as we head to the 6th.
heroes, because no matter where you serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
Memorial Day and a moment of silence here at Miller Park. Memorial Day, we honor and remember the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country. New pitcher is Taylor Williams, our Chevy called to the pen. He last pitched over the weekend on Saturday, the 17-6 win over the Mets. In one inning, gave up a hit. He struck out one. It was a Double-A Biloxi a year ago.
Right-handers batting under 100 against him. The Cardinals have that predominantly a right-handed lineup.
He was a fourth-round pick in 2013. Missed all of 16, recovering from Tommy John surgery. Fastball, slider. The Hyundai pitch arsenal. It'll be Pham, Jerko, Ozuna. 3, 4, and 5 for the Cardinals here in the top of the 6th. Tommy today has flied to center and also struck out. 5-3 our score. Both starters out of the game. And Pham lines it into right. One pitch, one out. Caught by Yelich. Brent Suter went 5 innings, 3 runs on 5 hits, struck out 6, no walks, gave up a pair of home runs in inning number 5.
Williams actually didn't pitch in 15 and 16 with that Tommy John surgery.
Here's Jed Jerko, had the big hit yesterday along the comeback 2-out pinch hit single into 7th. He made the score 4-3. Had been hitless as a pinch hitter prior to that appearance. As his helmet pops off, got a pitch to drive, 1-1 to count.
Fastballs.
Big gap in left center, and the 1-1 pitch to Jed Jerko.
Slider. 96 with a fastball, about 86 with the slider.
You know, a lot of fans look at why Jerko starts at second, Carpenter at third, or vice versa. And the 1-2. Mike Matheny talked about it over the weekend. A lot of that has to do with the personnel around him. You know, Jerko, they feel, has got pretty good range at second base. Martinez learning the position at first. So you keep Carpenter at third with Munoz, who has good range at short. That's why.
And has that power arm, too, that he can get a ball in the hole.
So 2 outs and Ozuna. Marcel is 1 for 2. Base hit to right, also grounded out to first. Good sight right there. Young man Alex Reyes. Baseball world talking and buzzing about his appearances on his rehab assignments.
Danny, I don't know if I've ever seen a guy in rehab that would put up the numbers that he put up.
How about the 9 strikeouts, 9 in a row that he had in the Pacific Coast League for Memphis in his last time out? That had never ever happened. 9 in a row.
And he did that with 36 pitches. That was way to 13 strikeouts, 6 2/3.
Here's a 1-1 to Marcell Ozuna.
I was telling Maddox about Reyes, and he said, you know, obviously I've never seen him pitch. I saw him throw a little bit in spring training, just batting practice, and he goes, wow. But he goes, he is so excited to watch him pitch because it'll be his first time really seeing game action, as well as all Cardinal Nation.
That'll be Wednesday. Alex Reyes making his 2018 debut with the St. Louis Cardinals, this year's debut. The 3-1 pitch put in play by Ozuna. Tricky hop for VR. He makes the play. Alex Reyes on Wednesday. Cardinals go in order. In cancer, and join USAA in honoring our fallen heroes. Hammer and Hank Aaron, the statue just outside the ballpark here in Milwaukee. Still very close with Bud Selig, who is actually teaching in Arizona, the college level, and then comes back here in the summers. Longtime owner of the Brewers, then commissioner of baseball.
In many ways, Hank Aaron doesn't get the credit for the player he was.
Talk so much about home runs and not the complete player.
Yeah.
Manny Pena pulls it foul.
And he started here with the Milwaukee Braves before they moved to Atlanta.
Do you know him well?
Not that well. You know, when I was with Atlanta, I got to see him a little bit, but
yeah,
you know.
Pop in and out of the ballpark.
Very rarely.
Kind of like Koufax. Koufax doesn't come to the ballpark all that much, and when he does, it's not a lot of fanfare.
Well, at times that, you know, he would not come to the ballpark other than the offices there when he was working and running the minor league system. But
there's the 0-2 pitch to Pena. And that's driven in the gap in right center. Went down to get it. 2 hops and off the wall. Pena on his way to second. And the throw is cut off. On an 0-2 pitch, went down to get it. Leadoff double, Manny Pena.
Andy, do we think he is a low ball hitter based on what we've seen today? It's his second hit that he's gone down and drive the ball. Still young and runs fairly well for a catcher.
Saladino will be the batter, the 8th place hitter. No one at the on-deck circle yet.
You know, Tim McCarver was very good to me when I was young and playing with Timmy. But
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Runs well for a catcher.
No.
He doesn't like that. How about just runs well, period? He'll tell you.
Okay. But no, he was catching and Aaron was hitting. And Timmy made me really mad because Aaron got a double inside the third baseline. He said it was the hardest hit ball he ever saw. So I got mad at him. But it was a double.
Inside to Saladino. Domingo Santana is at the on-deck circle. Cardinals anticipating the potential of a bunt, so the corners are in. Swinging, and it's hit out of play. Saladino, 22 games this year, 343. His average career 236 hitter, 260 games. It's interesting in this school of thought, 2-run lead, man at second. Do you bunt or do you take 3 cracks at it?
I think in this ballpark you take 3 cracks at it.
Craig Counsell, I think, feels the same way as Saladino was swinging, and now in a hitter's count 3-1. Could do some damage. Myers' season high pitch count 46. He's at 38. 3-1 pitch. Line drive into center. Catch made by Fan.
Hit it too hard. And you want to talk about how good the offense is for Milwaukee. Domingo Santana's coming up here. He hit 278 last year with 30 home runs and 85 RBIs and can't find a position to play. And was a good defensive play. You know, I mean, he was not a Gold Glover, but he was no minus outfielder. Mentioned Broxton, who hit 20 home runs, center fielder, great athleticism. He's in the minor leagues because they're so loaded.
So Domingo Santana here pinch hitting. Runner at second, a 5-3 game.
That's why it was kind of funny when really about a 12-hour period or 24-hour period they signed Kane and traded for Yelich when you really thought they had a pretty stacked outfielder as going into the season.
Yeah, their fan base also went to the ticket office, and they said in that 24-hour period they upped their tickets by a whole bunch. Fans got excited here about that. Question is, do they have enough pitching? Here's a 1-1. Kept in front by Pena. Nice play.
Well, like you said, do they have enough pitching? But they're 14 games over 500.
Sure.
They're leading the Central Division. They have a Corey Knebel, their very capable closer from a year ago, is come off the disabled list. You know, he thought he tore the muscle off the bone, you know, the hamstring. Thought he'd be out for the year. Well, he's back, but he's very inconsistent. But harder and
fouled back. 2-2.
And Jeffress are just unhittable.
They have the lefty Josh Hader there, who's got the baseball in his hand, and that young man is exceptional. Reminds me of Chris Sale coming out of a bullpen. Same body type, slings it, throws hard.
And Jeffress has a .30 or 3.3 ERA.
What I don't understand is that this is the third time he's been with Milwaukee, and he's had better success here with Milwaukee. But
why did they keep on getting rid of him?
Why that, and why do other teams too?
Right.
Every time I watch him, he's pretty darn good. Two. Oh, he wanted to raise the right hand and didn't. See him flinch just a bit. Watch Gary Cederstrom here. Oop, no.
Clearly was a ball, but
See, you wanted to, though. It's close.
I wanted him to also.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Fly ball lifted out to deep left center. Pham with room makes the catch. Pena will tag up from second to third and in there safely. On this Memorial Day, USAA honors our fallen heroes. Well, the pitch count is getting up there now for Mike Myers. It's at 45. His spot is due up fourth for the Cardinals, so get the feeling be 2 innings of work for him. Gave up a run last inning, trying to make it a scoreless bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, we really want to see him finish it right here. They got Cecil was in the bullpen. He could come in and face Yelich on deck, but right now you want Myers to retire.
Lorenzo Cain. Cain was the first man that he saw.
He walked him. That was the biggest mistake he made last inning. Now the walk was replaced by Yelich. You know, when he got the force out of Cain at second base, but that run came around to score. And really, the 2 base hits he gave up last inning were just little dunkers. Not hit hard at all, just found the spot.
The 2-0 pitch. That slider has been a good pitch to get back in a count, get back in the zone. 2-1.
And the thing that he needs to work on is that first pitch strike.
The 2-1. Fly ball out to right. Bader with the catch. Memorial Day, and we are in Milwaukee. Donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Williams had a 1-2-3 6th out of the pen for Milwaukee, and now it's Matt Albers. He'll pitch here in the 7th.
Signed as a free agent on January the 30th. Been around a lot of bullpens. This last year was Washington. Lefties really handled lefties very well.
And the Cardinals now trailing 5-3. They've been out hit 8-5. Both starters out of the ball game. Bader leads it off, followed by Munoz, who is homered, and Pena. Albers got a win in his last outing back on the 22nd against Arizona.
Also beat the Cardinals in early April. Been unscored upon in 16 of his 20 appearances.
Bader is hit in 3 straight. Pulls back the bat for ball 1. Something that was very important. The moment of silence at 3 o'clock here at the ballpark and across the country as we came back from break.
Bader should be 2 for 2. He got a rocket right back off the starter Suter and was thrown out at first base, but hit that ball hard, and then he got a base hit and scored the first Cardinal run. Came in on the Munoz home run.
Three 3-0. For our younger fans, they may be enjoying the game today or swimming outside playing. Memorial Day is when we honor and remember brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country.
Family outing. How many times you see dads or grandparents with their younger children, teach them the game of baseball, carrying on the tradition.
3-2 the count. Albers, the opponent's batting average .210 this year, but the Cardinals have hit .353 against this right-hander.
I like it.
See if it carries over to today. Shift on the left side of the infield. It's into the shift to third. Shaw has to be quick, and they get Bader by a step. Before you know it, we'll have our Hall of Fame presentation and ceremony. August 18th, open to the public at 3, presented by Edward Jones. Cardinals.com/HOF to find out more. Harry Brackeen, Vince Coleman, Ray Langford headed to the Cardinals Hall of Fame.
See Dexter Fowler there. I talked to him before the game and said feeling much better.
It was nasty, that ball that hit off his knee, that fastball. He went straight down, had to be helped off the field.
Get hit on that side of your knee. There's nothing there but just bone. You were showing the stem machine, the leg pulsating. It's amazing what they have today.
And the 0-1. Nissan drive of the game as Jairo Munoz, a moment he'll never forget. 2-run homer, first ever in the big leagues. Back in inning number 5.
Remember in spring training he had a 2-home run game, I believe against Minnesota.
1 inning against Baltimore, I think. But it was 1 inning. He had 2 home runs.
Let's say it's Milwaukee.
You never know. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Like you said, put the ball in play and you never know.
Started out the year 2 for 20. Now is hit safely in all 5 since being recalled.
Albers, a lot of sinker, slider.
A little bit low. The 2-2. Cardinals today have struck out 8 times in this lineup. Plaza Tire Service Fox Tracks.
Seamer there.
And the batter will be Francisco Pena. Already now 14 starts with Molina out. He had a total of 15. 4 years in the big leagues.
Yeah. But, you know, he works just as hard in preparation, does everything that Yachty does. You know, go to those meetings, starting pitcher meetings with the catcher, go over a game plan.
Here's a 1-0.
Can't wait to see his dad.
Got to get him back to St. Louis.
Papa Tony. First year, I think, something like 42 years straight that Tony Pena's walked away from the game of baseball. Got a lot of farms and ranches in the Dominican. Actually, also owns a water company.
That'll keep you busy.
Pretty smart. It's one thing that we always need.
One and two the count on Francisco Pena. Popped up to the right side and a foul ball. Game tomorrow will be on Fox Sports Midwest. We will not have television for you on Wednesday. Then after that, after Tuesday, our next televised game will be Thursday against the Pirates. Note the start time tomorrow. Pre-game at 6 o'clock, 6:40 with the first pitch. And Pena waves at it and strikes out. And on this Memorial Day, we'll stay for the singing of God Bless America.
Stand for God Bless America, led by Bob Kozlowski from the Brewers Guest Services.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
His famous slide towards first base in the 2011 postseason. Cardinals.com/promotions. Pick up that unique bobblehead. Brett Cecil into the ball game for St. Louis.
Brett still trying to find that curveball on a consistent basis. You know, when he does have it and stay on top of it, has the that ball just drops off the table.
There's Christian Yelich. First pitch hit to the right side. Past Jerko and into shallow right. Yelich is caught up between first and second and now tagged out. Or was he tied up? He was. He was tied up with Jose Martinez and awarded the first base bag.
I think he's going to ask for an explanation of it, but we'll give a look at it here. The right side. So you see Martinez is going over here and just inadvertently, but to make contact like that, that's all it takes. They're trying to argue that he should be entitled to second base. It's obstruction when it's a position player. Remember Alan Craig in the World Series at third base. Interference when it's the batter.
So 5-3 our score. Leadoff man is aboard. Popped up. Pena towards the screen and it's out of play. Interference with the base runner or offense. And obstruction there on the defensive player. So awarded the nearest bag, and that's first base. Chevy called to the pen. 10th appearance, 3.60 ERA, 5 innings. Walked 4, struck out 4.
Righties haven't got a hit off him, but the lefties batting .333. But small sample size and 4 strikeouts, 4 walks.
Cardinals have been out hit 9-5 and they trail 5-3. A key point in this game was the ball that got under the glove of Martinez that scored 2. That was with the pitcher Suter up back in the 4th. That's the difference in the game, 2 runs. Cecil would love a double play here. It's interesting. You've got to realize, I think it's now happened so many times in baseball, and you do it so many times, you get accustomed to what you may have. But Carpenter, who is at third base, understanding that it may take a little bit for Jerko to get to the bag or where that throw needs to be to lead him. He's on the shortstop side.
See right there, but yeah, I would think, Danny, with Carpenter's experience at second base, he knows how difficult it is for the second baseman to get there.
And a fly ball lifted out to center field. Bam puts himself in a position to make a catch and throw. And back to the bag at first goes Yelich.
Cecil here with the left hand hitting Shaw. You know, when he came over from Toronto, they said he threw better than 50% curveballs. And then last year we didn't see anywhere near that. But of course we didn't see the curveball that he had in the American League. And if you were to talk to teams in the American League East or the National League East, they got a chance to see him. They said he was absolutely nasty. But trying to find that release point.
Fouled back. Cubs with a win today, 7-0 over the Pirates. Anthony Rizzo with his 7th home run. The Cubs played late last night and then had to travel to Pittsburgh for a day game. Here's the 0-1. First season, 31 home runs, drove in over 100 with Milwaukee. Well on his way to potentially doing that again.
Yeah, 16 was with Boston. And see how much playing every day allowed him to become the player he is.
Sometimes you just need a chance.
Oh, absolutely.
Think about the third baseman, or even just the dead money of the Red Sox right now. Of Pablo Sandoval, who, by the way, started at second base last night for the Giants. Handler Ramirez, who played mostly first base and DH, but a little third. Shaw got a piece of it, taps it foul. Rusney Castillo is in their minor league system. He was a young man from Cuba that they gave over $70 million to. I mean, a lot of money that's going to players that are no longer in their uniform.
That's what a big market can do.
You bet.
They can got the wherewithal to outpay their mistakes. I couldn't understand Sandoval going there. Why would he ever want to leave San Francisco where he's idolized?
Totally agree. And comfortable. They're comfortable with him and
oh yeah,
issues that he may have.
Fully accepted, revered. Could have a down year there, and Boston's a tough town, and they're struggling.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Good jump at first. Throw not in time, and a stolen base for Yelich, number 5.
Good jump off of Cecil. And there was a tough pitch for Pena, was right at the, I don't know how he didn't hit batter, but
second base umpire really stayed with it just to see if he had come off the bag.
you see his hand touches it, but then he goes right off it. But before he lost contact, I think the knee, well, yeah.
He might be out, whether or not that leg stayed entirely on the bag.
Thought it did, but I think there was a little separation. That would be the first base stealer the Cardinal catchers have thrown out this year, if they get him. Not that many attempts, fewest attempts.
That's a byproduct of having Mr. Molina behind the plate. A lot of teams don't run on him.
They're running on the pitcher. Loses contact with the left hand, but does the body get there? Put the tag down.
I guess the question, Al, is if the knee and the shin stayed on the bag while going by because the tag was on him. That's why in baseball now they're told you hold the tag all the way through.
And you saw the umpire too. I mean, he stayed right with the play. He didn't. He had his hand still on there. The big screen up there, it looks like he's safe. See that?
Oh yeah, they have a different view than the one that we've shown. It's very tough to tell whether or not leg came off the bag, really on both of them. That's why I think it might be tough for them to say that he's going to be out in this spot.
Munoz does the right thing, just holding the tag on him as long as he can. Slides right past the bag, but it looks like the body and the leg always maintain some contact.
If he is out, first caught stealing of the year, should snap a streak of 50 straight games to begin the year. Previous record was 24 by the Red Sox.
So, Dan, we were talking about different way the game has changed. Also, head first slides. Luke Rock told me you can only slide head first if the infielders allow you to do so. 30 years ago, you know, if you were in a pennant race and you had a base stealer trying to do something like that, someone drop a knee on him, the shoulder, hand, step on him, do something to take you out of the game. Just the way the game was played back then. You didn't like the other team.
Now the 2-2 pitch. Shaw with 17 driven in his last 16 games. A chance to advance this 2-run lead. He's 1 for 3 today. Yelich good speed at second. Got him. Good breaking ball.
Curveball, and you can see with good arc to it, and then you keep it away beyond the reach. You sell it as a strike, and then it breaks off the plate.
Well, you have the opportunity to be very careful here with Braun, and then the switch hitting VR is at the on-deck circle.
And VR is only hitting 200 right-handed.
And that's the point. Braun 3 hits today.
As a pitcher, you always want to feel that you can get every hitter out, but sometimes with the base open, lefty against a righty, which we saw though, this was not allowed to hit, and they're going to intentionally walk him and take it right out of the hands. We understand that?
Sure.
And I know you agree.
I do. Al, if I managed, I'd have 10 walks a game.
But they all be intentional.
A lot of them would. I don't want to face that guy, get this guy out of here. Okay, I'm ready.
But this is, this is what the game's all about. You make a managerial decision. Now it's up to the execution of the players. Can Cecil make that move pay off by getting the hitter out with 2 outs?
Runners going, and the pitch taken for a strike, a double steal. And Pena had absolutely no chance.
I mean, that was just,
never looked.
Never looked. They were ready for it, and you look at it this way: it's his 2 runners out there. He's got 2 outs. You better get the hitter out.
Here's the 0-1. VR with a drive into left center field. He makes him pay. They walk Braun and VR a 3-run homer.
His 3rd home run, first home run right-handed, where he was batting 200.
It's opened up now a 5-run Milwaukee lead, 8-3. Here's Manny Pena. One of the big calls in this game was to stay with the safe call, second base on Yelich. Apparently they could not tell if he maintained or did not maintain contact with the bag. So that's why the call stood.
That would have been 3rd out of the inning.
That's a big one. 1-2 the count on Manny Pena.
Let him get him more.
Hit to third. And the out. Cecil comes in and allows a 3-run homer to Jonathan Villar. 8-3, end of 7. .862, 4.2, 8.62. Villar with one of the biggest hits of the afternoon, his 3-run homer. The Brewers 28-0 this year when leading after 7. That's the case here. They've got 6 outs to go. Greg Garcia, pinch hitter, then Carpenter Martinez against Albers.
Well, we got to start pecking away, getting late, but seen a lot of runs scored in this ballpark.
Cardinals use Tyler O'Neill as a pinch hitter back in the 5th, and now Greg Garcia. First pitch, a strike, and we're underway.
Greg passed up So Taguchi on the all-time Cardinal pinch hitting list. Has 30 pinch hits in his career. We had fun with So. What's happened to Eugene?
He followed Seung-Hwan Oh to Toronto.
Toronto. Good.
I'd like to just have Eugene around anyway.
Yeah, I mean he was fun. Great personality.
Fouled back, 2 strikes on Gray.
Our Spanish interpreter this year is was an All-American first baseman. Small college up in New York, from Venezuela.
Here's a 1-2. Jim Hayes tried many times to get Eugene Koo on the pregame show, but many times Eugene would turn us down.
I don't think anybody has ever turned down Jim Hayes.
How would you have treated Jimmy if he was following the Mad Hungarian in the prime of his career? Would you been good to him?
I would treat him with respect.
You would have, huh?
Even though I'm not a cat lover.
No. That's why you and Tony had issues. Here's a leadoff walk for Greg Garcia.
Hey, that's where it starts.
Well, Carpenter, the final parts of this month, he's picked it up. The average has gone since May 15th from 140 to 222.
And a lot of extra base hits during that time. He's leading the league in doubles since the middle of the month. Good to see. The Carpenter we're accustomed to seeing.
Good changeup. Carpenter out in front. Tony La Russa, one of my all-time favorites. What a character of the game. What a great manager. Hall of Famer.
No doubt. Big personality. See him away from the game, a completely different person.
He's done an awful lot for a lot of people. I'll tell you that. There's the 0-1.
And a lot of animals.
That too. One of the things he was working on, he was telling me in spring training, was they're actually building onto the ARF facility, and that portion of the building, which is the Taj Mahal, if you will, of animal shelters, but would be there to help out veterans when they come back from war.
Oh, they were doing that with, you know, women, you know.
He's done a lot for the elderly, for abused women, for folks that have been in the military, and both men and women. He's done a lot of good. 2 balls, 1 strike here on Carpenter.
I must have meant cats. I'm a big fan of big cats. Lions, tigers, cougars, jaguars. Cheetahs.
Changeup again.
Cheetahs, that litter they had at the St. Louis Zoo, 6 or 7 baby cheetahs that are now on display at the best zoo and free zoo in America. Don't see him throwing that changeup that often, do you? But that's what he does with the lefties.
Two. Chopped foul. Reminder that game 2 of the series tomorrow. Michael Wacha, Zach Davies at 6. And then after tomorrow, our next telecast will be Thursday. Or Budweiser, what's on tap? Michael Wacha has kind of flown under the radar. He's off to a good start.
Well, unbelievable. He hasn't lost a game since his first one, right?
The 2-2. Pulled foul. It's all right. You can boo him. Got to come up with that.
Well, at least he kept his feet.
Good
Didn't
point.
fall down.
Good point. Earlier in our game, ball boy down the left field line. He fell right on his tummy. The 2-2 pitch. Full count.
get a sinker, you're going to get a changeup.
Changeup.
There's a changeup, saw way back into the palm of his hand.
Jose Martinez 0 for 3 today. Strikeout twice, his flight out to right.
For 3, and one nice play defensively and one that he wishes he could have made. Play the shooter, the pitcher hitting, got underneath his glove, and 2 runs scored.
The Brewers hold on. They would move to 5 games in front of St. Louis. A strike. No balls, 2 strikes. And the 0-2 going outside.
Another game where the Cardinals were 10 strikeouts.
Yeah. There's a happy young fan with a souvenir. Like to see that.
Another thing where the game's changed. We'd get fined $50 for putting the ball in the stands. Now,
Did not go.
Now baseball embraces it, and rightfully so.
So 2-2 the count.
Through the changeup to Carpenter on 3-2. Here it's been sliders and sinkers.
Out of play.
Fastball 95. Rub it up, he's going to throw a slider, I predict. Fastball away.
And Martinez hits it to short. Out at second, the turn, it's a double play. We're midway through 8 on this Memorial Day. And it's 8-3, Milwaukee. by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Ford, going further so you can. The statue of the great Robin Yount. Started out as a shortstop, then moved for 3,000 hits. There's John Brebbia. He'll pitch the bottom of the 8th for St. Louis. Cardinals trailing by the score of 8-3. Cardinals fell behind 4-0, then pulled to within 4-3, and now 8-3.
Brebbia was so good last year, just an unknown quantity that came to the big leagues and did a heck of a job. This year he's been up and down, recalled 4 different times, and hasn't had the same consistency. He hadn't had the same stuff, but you know what he did last year, you sure want to give him the opportunities to find it.
Tyler Saladino. And the first pitch is strike. Good slider, 0-2.
Would you say the consistency on the slider and being able to spot his fastball has been a little bit off?
Absolutely. Young man, 94 years young, Dale Height, World War II veteran, getting a nice ovation as he decided to head back home, and there's a strikeout of Brebbia to start the bottom of the 8th. Home runs in this game, the Budweiser plays of the game. Yes. Jairo Munoz, his first in the big leagues. Matt Carpenter also a home run. The big one, Jonathan Villar. Runs today for Milwaukee, scored with 2 outs. It's another factor of Cardinals just not being able to put them away in an inning, which they could do some damage. There's a strike to Eric Sogard.
Cardinals only 5 hits on the day, and three of those 5 came in the 3-run 5th inning when Munoz hit his first major league home run, a 3-run job.
Of concern for the Cardinals, the strikeouts again, and you talked about it earlier, the Cardinals with 10 strikeouts, and right now on average there are nearly 9 strikeouts per game, to be the most in Major League history. It's fouled back just below us.
The Cardinals scored 5 runs, 2 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th yesterday, but so many times too they just don't seem to score very many early in the game, and they don't score a lot late. And then when they do get base hits, if it's not a home run, it's a single. No running game, you know, very little walking.
So it's been that kind of day.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of baseball. In 162 games, you're going to have X amount of these.
And trying to turn it around tomorrow behind Michael Wacha, but still some time in this game, although the Cardinals are down by 5. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Popped up again by Sogard. This will be Carpenter. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. So 2 outs, and here's Lorenzo Cain. Popped up again, left side. Carpenter or Munoz. It'll be Matt Carpenter. Makes the catch. Scoreless inning by Brebbia. Sends us to the ninth, and it's 8-3. Game for the Milwaukee Brewers. They'll try to finish off the Cardinals. And that home run by VR kind of took the wind out of the sails of the Cardinals in this game. Their Chevy called to the pen.
And Jacob Barnes, he's another one of the reliable arms coming out of that bullpen.
And the first batter he will face is Tommy Pham.
Barnes was recalled from AAA yesterday.
Pham is 0 for 3. Flied out, lined out, struck out. Falls behind nothing at 2. The 0-2 pitch to Tommy Pham. Again out of play.
Barnes, another one of these power arms, and there's a kid that had to get sent down to the minor leagues and for a while. So it's his second stint here, trying to get him right.
The 0-2 held on to. No. Foul tip. Yes, he did hold on. Strikeout of Pham. Got a piece, but somehow he held on.
Seven strikeouts.
And it brings in Jed Jerko over 3 today. Cardinals with just 5 hits and 11 strikeouts. That's well hit out to deep right field. Slicing towards the corner, and it drops in. And Jerko winds up at second base.
Yelich good outfielder, and it looked like he might have been a little casual on that or something. It looked like it went off his glove. A little slice away from him coming off the bat of a right-hander, but I'm sure he'd say he feels like he should have caught it. Down and away, just hits it into that right field corner. Just reached up and missed it.
And it's hit to the right side by Ozuna. Jerker to third, and there's 2 down, and now the Cardinals down to their final out.
Harrison can't extend it. Never know. Battle back.
Bader is 1 for 3 today.
'97, 98 miles an hour. Had more than a strikeout per inning a year ago.
Here's a 1-1 pitch now to Bader. Pops it up. This should do it. Brewers win game 1 8-3, and they're now 5 in front of St. Louis.
Frustrating loss for the Cardinals, but going to have to battle back. Still got a chance to take 2 out of 3, and that's usually what the Cardinals do when they're playing here in Milwaukee. Did it earlier this season. Back in April, they won 2 out of 3.
Jim Hayes standing by with Rick Ankiel. Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live, our post-game show. Brewers take game 1 by the final of 8-3.